Nobody wants to work anymore. I've heard it a number of times, but how true is it? I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. You know. You're here. You're a member. You know. I've heard that a lot, especially coming out of the lockdown. There were a lot of people saying, nobody wants to work anymore. Well, I've got some news on that. Nobody's ever wanted to work. There's exceptions. I have had jobs that I found exceptionally rewarding and empowering and meaningful. Those are jobs that I would have done for less money or maybe even for free. There are, the first 3 months of this channel I did for free because I hadn't gotten monetized. You have to get 1,000 subscribers before you can monetize. And and what a dumb idea on YouTube's part. Now they want me to push YouTube memberships, which I'm doing here now. But if they'd have just let me monetize with memberships early on, I never would have had to use Patreon. So I don't know what they were thinking. Apart from, I don't know. YouTube's the devil. We know that. That's well established. No one wants to work anymore. Well, there's a labor shortage. Some people found that when they, during lockdown, maybe one of the people in the house stopped working completely. I got to be here with the kids. I can't work and take care of the kids. Some of those people found that, you know what? I don't have to go back to work. I don't have to. The cost of daycare is outrageous. It could be $800 a month per kid. If you got 2 kids, that's a big chunk of your money gone. Then they've got to have the whole second commute. They might need a whole second car, or certainly wear out that car quicker. Maybe you have to buy work outfits. But an 8-hour day in the U.S. isn't 8 hours, it's 9 hours, because, there's that unpaid lunch break in the middle. And then you've got the commute. You're easily gone 11 hours a day, 55 hours a week for a 40-hour job. That's a lot of hours. A lot of those people just it doesn't make sense for them to go back. That's not that they don't want to work. That's that work doesn't work for them. Then you've got all the people who retired early. Retirements came out more quickly than before. The pace of retirement accelerated. There were a lot of people who were close. They were in the window of retirement. I'm going to work another year or 2, maybe 3, maybe 5. But, I could retire now, but I'm not gonna. Well, for them, it doesn't make sense to keep working. Now is as good a time as any. I don't feel like doing this job from home. I don't feel like doing Zoom. Or, I'm just done. Let's just pack it in. We're done. So there was a lot of retirements that happened as a result of the lockdown. When those retirements happened, people one rung down just stepped up. These were people who'd been in the workforce 30, 40, 50 years. A lot of people one rung down, 5, 10, 20 years younger, stepped up one rung. But that created those vacancies, and the people rung down stepped up. Everyone got to step up by one rung. Not everyone. Many people got to step up by one rung. Well, the problem is you get down to the bottom and there's no one left to step into that empty rung. There's no spot from 0 to 1. There weren't enough unemployed people looking for work to fill that spot. I don't like working. But I don't consider what I'm doing here work. Bumped. Tried to move my mouse pad, bumped into my plaid mug, and now move the camera. But I don't consider this. I mean, it's work, but this isn't like a job. I'm not working for the man. If I had to have a job working for the man, boy, I've had those jobs. The jobs where you show up 45 minutes early every day just because traffic's unpredictable, and then you show up 2 minutes late and you get a closed door talk. You need to be here. Brian, you need to be here at 8. The phones turn on at 8. You need to be here at 8. Customers may be calling. You need to be here. I can control what time I leave home. I can't control what time I arrive. I throw in as much buffer as possible to make sure I get here on time, but it is not a perfect system. Well, everyone else gets here on time. Yeah, well, you pay everyone else here enough that they can live in this neighborhood, and you pay me enough that I have to rent a room from my sister an hour away. And when it rains and there's two accidents, I'm going to be 2 minutes late no matter how early I leave, unless I plan to be here at 5 a.m. every day. Job starts at 8. I'm not going to get here that early. It's crazy. And when I changed from that job to the next job, I said, here's the big thing. I need this from you. I will get my job done. I will work more than 40 hours, but I need flexible scheduling. If I have a doctor's appointment, I need to go to it. If I've got something I need to do, I'm going to go do it. If I'm not here at 9 o'clock when the bank opens, that's not your concern because I'm going to be here late. No problem. No problem. Get this new job. I'm there 6 months, and my birthday comes around. And it was exciting. I got taken out to lunch by my sister and some coworkers, and then some realtors that I work with separately. I did 2-hour lunches back to back. I was, oh my gosh, that was great. And when I got back, they said, "What are you doing, man? You can't be gone for 4 hours." And I said, so A, when I started, that was the deal. And B, I'm here until like 7, 8 o'clock every day because I'm on commission and I'm a loan officer and I'm young and I'm making good money and I don't have kids or a wife. This is what I'm giving you. So let's not have this conversation a second time. And they were gracious enough to say, no, actually, no, you're right. I come in on Saturdays, man. I would do home buyer seminars once a month. I've gotten off topic. People don't want to work. Well, it's true. People have retired. Those people don't want to work. They shouldn't have to. They've worked enough. Parents who don't get paid enough to justify the massive expense of childcare and commute and other costs, they don't want to work, right? And they shouldn't have to work. If they can afford to get by on one income, let them. A lot of people from the older generation have very different ideas about what work is based on what it was and what it should be based on what it isn't. I met a man at the La Brea Tar Pits working security, and he decided to tell me how lazy and entitled the younger generation is because when he was young, he paid his own way through college. He didn't take out loans. He paid his own way through college. And when he got out of college, he went and got a job, and that was it. Bought a house, on his way. Tuition was like $100 a year back then, or free. Books were not $1,000 each at the time. And when he got out of college, jobs paid a good enough wage that many spouses chose not to work. And you could buy a house. You would have to be a part-time doctor to make enough money to pay your way through college these days. You would have to, realistically, you could work full-time and not pay your tuition. It's not enough money. There are not enough dollars in the calendar to make that work. And buying a house, have you seen house prices? I looked to see what it would cost to buy my house today. I looked at the price, I looked at the interest rates, and I said, let's assume I don't have a down payment because, let's say I didn't have the previous house to use as a massive down payment. My mortgage would be like $3,500 a month, $4,000 a month. I don't make $3,500 a month. I look rich to people who are getting out of college now, and I'm not. I'm just old. I'm lucky, is what I am, is lucky. You can't tell people who are getting out of college $50,000 in debt that they did it wrong when you didn't pay tuition, when tuition was something that was just available at the time. You can't tell people they're doing something wrong because they choose to rent instead of buy when home ownership is beyond the reach of the average working person, of the average working couple in many cases. U.S. median income is what, 50,000? So that's a third of that. So what's that? Little over 4,000 a month. A third of that, 1,300 a month, is what the average couple the average household would qualify for a mortgage payment. You can't get there are not many major metros where $1,300 a month will get you a house, even if you had 30 grand to put down, which you probably don't if you're making 50 grand. So no one wants to work. That's true. Work ain't nothing but work. I'm not saying what the solution is. I'm saying we need to show patience and love to the people who choose not to work, to the people who chose to retire early, even though it created this ripple that went all the way down through the economy and made it harder to find people to do entry-level jobs. Entry-level jobs used to be entry-level, but the median age for a fast food worker is now something like 30. That's not an entry-level job. In my state, it's not as hard to find people to fill those jobs because our minimum wage is like $15.74 an hour. That is, in many parts of this state, a pretty good wage. And even in, people can't afford to live in downtown Seattle. When I worked at the bank, I made great money, and I couldn't afford to live in downtown Seattle. I suppose I could have saved up and done it, but it would have been uncomfortable and expensive. No one is entitled to live anywhere they want. You don't have to take an entry-level job at a Starbucks downtown. If you don't want to be downtown, don't be downtown. There's Starbucks everywhere. You can work at one of the other ones. You can work at a McDonald's anywhere. You don't have to be in the Burger King, at the food court, at the office complex. You don't have to do that. All I'm saying is people who can afford to not work shouldn't be required to work, and we should show patience and grace and love to everyone and try not to be so judgmental. I don't know. That's it. Nobody wants to work. Oh yeah, thanks for being a member. I don't know if you guys are actually watching these. We'll find out.